everybody will need to log in with the CIS280 user, which is on the board if you forgot the password or wrote it up there. So now we're going to be doing the side loading in class, and then your take home is going to be creating your final app website using GitHub. We'll go over those two things tonight. Before you leave, I did bring up with me a prototype of what we're going to be creating in my in May, the summer session 1. I always want to call it May term because it's called forever. I'm doing an Internet of Things course. So I have a motion detector up here that's actually one of the projects you'll be creating. So you can take a gander at it and then hear this annoying bell whenever you walk up here. I was telling somebody before class that I had it set to alarm mode. It actually sounded like a siren, but I had it left in the dining room. The dog walked through about 1:30 in the morning. What's that sound? What's going on? So anyway, you don't have that annoying of a sound, but anyway, you got a little bit of annoying sound. That's not from that. Breaking news. I figured it was. How many members getting the alert, the presidential alert a couple weeks? Was it a couple weeks ago? Or a week ago? I remember when I got it, I go, hey, don't need Twitter anymore. Just bypass Twitter, go right to all the phones. Straight to the phone. And then it was funny, like all day long, every time they report on it, they go, oh, and by the way, the president does not have access to this control. I'm like, yeah, right. If you wanted access, you probably get access. Yeah. All right. There we go. Okay, so let me go over the Internet of Things course that I've been working on for a little bit. I found a domain, rbciot.app. By the way, if you're a website person that creates domains for people or yourself, the .app domain is $16 a year, and it comes with SSL certificate built into the cost, which is pretty cheap. Because SSL by itself is usually about $75 for a personal site. So through GoDaddy, it was $16 for .app domain. So if you think you have an app or have a company that's purchases domains, or you find a cool domain, and I don't know if you know this or not, but if you think of a cool domain that might be popular one day and just buy it, you can sell it for quite a bit of money, by the way. I have a few domains I purchased years ago that are worth over $4,000 or $5,000, just one domain. But that's nothing. I got rid of one. I let it go away. I decided I didn't need it anymore. It was what was it? ioscourse.com was the domain, right whenever Swift came out, like in 2014. I thought, man, I didn't use it much, and I'm like, I'm not paying $32 a year for something I'm not going to use. I went back to buy it a year later, $10,000 to buy the stinking domain. I said, oh man. But I did buy another domain right after that, ioscourse.io. I bought that one. It's already up to about $1,500. So, but I'm not getting rid of that one. So anyway, rbciot. Do I now? Yeah. They'll make you an offer. So if somebody wants it bad enough, there's actually a site on GoDaddy. You can go to a page where if you want to sell your domain, it'll tell you, even if you don't want to sell your domain, what that domain would go for if you were to sell it. So you can look at all the list of domains you have, and it'll tell you what you could sell this domain for. And so, I'm not gonna make a killing off of it, but that was something to think about. Anyway, so here is the website for rbciot.app. Starts off showing kind of what Internet of Things is about. Has a guy waking up in the morning, walking through his kitchen, coffee's made, watering the plants automatically, music's on, kicks him out of bed. He has a Blinds go up automatically as he walks by. Door automatically, or that's a mirror, reflective mirror with the news of the day. And then coffee, toast shoved in his mouth. Door automatically opens. I think stop lights turn green. Elevator opens. Automatically logs in. Elevator. Anyway, that's the idea. Then gets to running, and Internet of Things is basically a definition I found that I like the best is connecting and controlling all devices and processes to the internet. And so it's not just devices, even processes can now be connected and networked together. New term for Internet of Things is Internet of Array of Things, where things can connect one to the other. We give some facts about Internet of Things. It started in the 70s when the first ATM went online. Big businesses are using it. 75 billion will be spent on IoT by 2020, which means 7 devices per person alive at that time. 60 trillion investment by GE over the next 15 years. Big businesses definitely start investing. Dark side is security breaches are becoming a concern. Half all U.S. business report that IoT data was compromised. So that's a big thing that folks are working on the security end of things. But that's pretty normal on any new technology. You're going to have that. And so difference with IoT and other technologies is the end user or the developers aren't usually allowed to look at anything until after all the security red tapes already went through. Politics and laws. It's kind of reverse in this case, in the fact that there's been a lot of opportunity for homegrown devices and ideas to be germinated because of that. So I think it's a good smart home. How many has a smart home device in your house, like lights, anything, door ringer, whole list of things you can get. Nest thermostat, Philips Hue lighting, 53 billion to be spent in the market by 2022. And then return on investment, 94% of businesses who adopted IoT have seen return on investment already. One of the latest articles I read was Harley Davidson saw a 60% increase in savings and productivity in manufacturing using Internet of Things in their manufacturing. And then goes on to talk about smart and automated driving. It's not just coming, it's here, but Gardner says by 2020, 250 million vehicles be connected to the internet for improved in-vehicle services, automated driving. And then it gives a stat that Google Drive's now currently testing 10,000 miles per week in autonomous driving. So IoT adoption and industry, 123 billion by 2021. And current stats as of this year, 77% of current industries connected to IoT, 55 healthcare, and 54% vehicles. The projects we'll be creating in May are 4 Saturdays, and it'll be 4 projects. The LEP project I bought tonight, which is the motion sensor, it uses a device called Photon by a company called Particle that's Wi-Fi enabled. You set up this device first, which costs about 19 bucks for this device. This costs about $7. And then it's on a breadboard that you can look at when you come up here. Anyway, you set up the Photon device. You connect the motion sensor to the pins on the Photon. I give you a diagram where it needs to go. There's some Python coding that you'll learn how to control it. But once it's set up, you can plug in, like I have tonight, a battery. I'm just using a regular mobile, battery. Everybody has a mobile charger battery. And this battery here will last about 4 days. But you can get stronger ones, definitely last longer. Kind of like the Nest. You can get a Nest like 2 or 3 months. something like that. But the sensor on this one is at the front. And then back here is a breadboard with the proton, the sensor module here, and then the battery. And Particle gives you up to 250 projects for free that you can use their cloud for. So you have up to 250 Internet of Things devices connected yourself. On average, these connections cost about 30 bucks to create on any connection. You can have one triggered for pretty much anything in your house, from when a dryer stops to temperature gets below a certain point in your refrigerator or freezer or garage or vehicle or anything. Next, week 2, we'll be doing a what should I wear outside picture frame. And then it's going to use a web service to determine the temperature. Then it's going to use a actuator arm to control where it's pointed to remotely. And it hangs on the wall, again with a battery backup, power, a lithium battery. It'll last about 6 months per charge. And then the third one is a circular light that's controlled again remotely via Wi-Fi. There's a web app. When you touch the web app, it's hard to see where you're at, but it's touch any color, change the color of the light. By the way, this is small enough for wearables like earrings, hats, sweaters, stuff like that. People put them in. Then the fourth one is a temperature and humidity gauge that'll kick out to multiple different outputs. Google Sheets, I think I've got it set up to push out to. And then the service called Pushover, where all of these use Pushover, by the way, where you can set notifications once the trigger is fired on any one of those 4 projects. So I'm looking at getting funding, by the way, for the class, where students that sign up don't have to pay. Now, granted, it's only going to cost about $100, I think, for all 4 projects. Which will be cool is at the end, all 4 of these projects are really I chose them because if you learn how to utilize all 4 projects and create and code all 4 projects, you can pretty much create any type of Internet of Thing device that you might need to create. You have the basics down, basic foundation anyway down. If that makes sense. So that's going to be summer session 1. rbciot.app. And again, you can come up and see the device that's been going off. My phone's been signed up to 2 minutes ago, and I have it set to my room in the house that's called dining room. So it says dining room here, but it's not. It's here in the lab. So questions about IoT? Yes. $30 to make a connection at the first. Yeah, each one of these projects, Curtis, costs about 30 bucks in total for all the hardware. And the hardware would be for each one is going to need the photon. It's also going to need the sensor. On the left one, it's a motion sensor, and the photon. The next one to the right's a photon and on the actuator arm to be able to move the needle. And then the third one is that light, and the fourth one is the little bitty. It's about the size of a dime that fits on the breadboard that keeps the temperature and humidity, or can get the temperature and humidity. So anyway, if it's a price point difference as far as how you can make something compared to what you buy off the shelf, like we've got the Ring at the house, the Ring Video that you can use at the door. I think that costs about $100. You can make one with all the hardware and software, which software is for free through Pinnacle. It costs about 45 bucks to make one, about $45. If you shop around the right place, you can spend more than that, but you shop around the right places. And that's another thing. When by the time May gets here, the sources are pretty much static right now on parts. Store.particle.com is one of the main sources of the Particle devices. And by the way, Particle is the photon there on the left there, the little board there. That's the Wi-Fi module, but they have a cellular module too. So you can actually set up a cellular module and not worry about connecting. It'll connect to any cellular tower it's near. Now, those are more expensive. I think the Proton Cellular is about 60 bucks, 55, 60 bucks. But before this, we had just Arduino that we could use, which Arduino was missing the Wi-Fi component and the cellular component. They had things called hats that you could add to them to add that, but it made them, much more thicker, more expensive, and to make. So this particle company has really made it much cheaper for developers. And there's only about 250 developers worldwide doing development in IoT, which I thought was a small number. It's a small number, really. So anyway, that's what that's about, rbciot.app. And then you can come up and play with this before you leave tonight. All right, so we are going to be now looking at week number 15, or week number 9. Week number 9. And we're going to be playing with initially in week number 9, bless you, in the in class. We're going to be looking at doing a side load of an app onto your device, whether it be an iPad you came up here and got or one of your devices. Here's the deal on side loading. For the in-class purpose, we're going to use my email just because to make it faster. But the easiest way to do a side loading is to set up an Apple account, just an Apple account, not an Apple Dev account, just an Apple account. It can't be a Dev account, by the way. It has to be a plain Apple account, like an Apple ID, right? So set up a brand new email, right? A Gmail account. Make it an Apple ID, and then once you do that, you can then go into Xcode, which we'll do in a second. We'll sign in as that user, load your project, select that team for that user you created, and then you'll connect your iPad or iPhone to the Mac and trust it. And when you trust it, by the way, you'll see you'll trust it on the Mac, you'll have to trust on the Mac, and you'll have to trust it on the iOS device both the first time. And that's real critical, because if you click no on a trust, you can still bring it back, but it's a little bit difficult to do. I know how to do it, but it's tricky. So just make sure when the trust pops up and we get to that place tonight, you make sure and pay attention to the Mac trust pop up and the iPhone or iPad trust pop up. Then we'll build and test like normal. And the app we're going to use is the one we used from last week on the contact database for core data. And we'll have it installed on the iPad or iPhone. Now here's a trick here you have to remember, and we'll get there when we get there. But at the end, when you install the app, the first time you have to verify and trust what's called a developer certificate on the iOS device. And the prompt on the screen on the phone and on Xcode both will tell you what to do. It's in the general area, though, of iOS. The general settings, general, is where you start at. And so anyway, let's go and do this. Click on that number 1, and it should launch it to a new tab. And this is the one I'm going to have you fork and clone. If you already forked this last week, which I think you did, it should already be in your repo. If you want to fork it again, that's fine. Or if you just want to download it to the Mac, you can do that too if you forked it already. You don't want to maybe make changes on the one on yours or something. I don't know. So fork and clone it, or if you made changes on the one already last week on this root one that you forked over to yours, I would say just download it to your Mac. That's fine. Might be easier just to do that, just to download it to your Mac. So we just hit the cloner download and hit download zip. Because you can use any app. I'm just using this one because it's a completed app and it runs and everybody can test it on your device. Once you get that downloaded, go ahead and extract it, and let's open up that .xcode proj file. All right, well, mine's running there. I'm going to walk around and show you what the end result is going to be on your iPad or iPhone. Okay. So this icon here is the My Contacts icon that people get on your device. Right here, one that you'll get on your device, whether it's ported correctly. If that's the one you guys will get on yours, that My Contacts should look like. Look like in a second. About 10, 15 minutes to get there. Make sure after you open up your project, you'll have to say open because you downloaded it from the web. If you're getting an error from your project that you downloaded or forked, I would say just download the one from the GitHub folder or the GitHub link in the in class, the 9 in class. You just download that repo, you should be good. Once it gets through indexing, even though it's indexing right now, we can go ahead and do the next step, which is on the 9 in class, and I'll leave it up on the screen. I'll lock it up there. So what you're going to do is in Xcode, you're going to go to the Xcode menu, Preferences, Account, and click on the Add, the little plus button to add a dev account, and that's the email and password you're going to put in. And I'll blow it up here a little bit, and you can see it better. Let me unfreeze it and freeze it again. Hopefully that's better. So Xcode Preferences, Account. Click the little plus symbol to add the Apple Dev account, and you're going to type in that Gmail account and that password. And it's CompuGeek, semicolon, apostrophe 67. It's a cap C. Make sure it's all spelled just like that or it won't work. And everything on the email is all lowercase. rvcipads@gmail.com. So Xcode Preferences, and then Accounts. Hit the little plus symbol on the lower left corner, and we're going to select the type of account. Should be Apple ID is what you want to select, the type of account. And I'll go back to that screen so you can, those of you still there. And then it's rvcipads@gmail.com. Once it connects to, you might get a verification possibly, like I had on my screen. And if you do, how many got the verification code? Okay, I can help you with that. Hang on a second. You might click on the button that says didn't get verification, and it should have a number, like text to whatever number at the bottom. If you click on that, it's going to go to my phone. Go ahead and do that, and I'll approve everybody here real quick. You know, I just thought of something. All these are going to come in separately. I'm going to have to do them all over one by one. Oh, well. Okay, I'll do mine first. 477 758. Now. 5619. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay. We'll do this one more time. All right, so I'll just point at you to have you do the verification one at a time. So I'll have you go first. We'll have you. You'll have to click that didn't get a verification code and click on my send a new code and continue. That should work. What is it?
Enter the last code you received.
Oh, that's not good. How about get a phone call? You got that one? Because we might just have to everybody create a new Gmail, I guess. I thought it was going to be easy, but it's not going to. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Looks like it's way easier because I'm guessing folks have abused that. All right, so let's do this. Start over. Everybody creates a brand new Gmail account. Let's do that real quick. Go to gmail.com. Use a brand new one. Don't use your existing one. Use a brand new one. To be simple here, let's see here. Let's create something that everybody can use a mnemonic here. We'll do CIS280. And then underscore your last name, something like that. CIS280 underscore last name. See if that works. Okay, I'll figure that out. And I'll create a new one with you. Oh, can't do underscore. CS180, CS280, dash, conkle, underscore. Oh, sorry. I can do periods, right? Try that. CS280 dot, conkle. That worked. Then you will have to put your number in. Silence my mom here. Thank you. All right. And we'll get a verification code, it looks like. To agree to the terms, you got to slide all the way down the bottom to agree to them. And we should be in business. All right, back in Xcode, after you create your Gmail, you can go through the same process. Click Apple ID, continue. This time you'll select Create Apple ID. And that's where you'll use your new Gmail you just created for your Apple ID. Just follow the directions on how to do that, which you've done that already before. Yeah, they've got a little bit more security on this. You got to answer. That's okay. No surprise. Once you get done, you should be able to verify the email first, it looks like. Should be able to log in after we verify email. It's 280. Yeah, once you get set up, you should be able to log in. Okay. Oh. No, I had I forgot my password.
Where's it count?
Do I know?
Where's it count?
Where's it count on what?
Where's it count?
It'll help you.
Go to
I don't know if you forgot to tell me my password. Or my,
Do what?
tell me my password. One that I know is right.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Good too.
That's fine now. I don't know. Weird.
So you get to
It's, looks like it's okay now, maybe. We'll see if it works now here. There we go. Yes, I just verified. Already did that.
Are we supposed to do anything else after we Gmail and made our email account? Not just supposed to go to Xcode and go to preferences and sign up.
You were, yeah. I'm having to. You have to verify though on your iCloud account. When you log on your iCloud account, you have to verify. I'm verifying it's there before I tell you guys, which is iCloud.com. iCloud.com is where you'll log in with your new iCloud account to verify once you try to sign up to Xcode the first time. It won't go to your Gmail. It'll go to your new iCloud. It should. Okay, yeah, let's verify it. Okay, yeah. Looks like it sends a verification to your Gmail once you've signed into iCloud the first time. Yeah, they've upped their security. That's okay. No surprise. All right, there's my code. 105, 123. So you had a box to check box on Apple ID security, terms and agreements, agree to that. So yeah, they've changed quite a bit. And then start using iCloud. All right, that finally did it. Okay, so somebody might have probably finished up better than I did, or faster than I did. So once you set up your iCloud account, when you try to attempt to go into Xcode the first time, you have to verify in your iCloud account. All I had to do is go to iCloud.com, log in with my Gmail that I set up my new Gmail account with, that I now use for my iCloud account. Log into that. It'll say you need to verify that Gmail account. Then you got to go to your Gmail account, verify it. It gives you a code. Go back to the iCloud account, type that code in. Then you can log into Xcode.
So we don't have to do a new Apple ID, we can go straight to iCloud.
Well, when you create the Gmail, right, the new Gmail, then in Xcode you go to create a new Apple ID with that Gmail account. Did you do that?
I got a Gmail account, then when I go to Xcode, created it since it's on that.
Well, no, you have to create an Apple ID in Xcode. Hit the plus, and then go to Apple ID, go to continue, and then create an Apple ID. Now you have to create one. And use your Gmail to create one. Yeah. That's complicated. Not 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, back to 5, up 5, back. Click on your mic. That's what you downloaded. So, Second. Let's make sure everybody's getting your accounts created first. It takes a little bit. We got yours logged in, that's good and everything. All right, cool. Go ahead and hit, see on oh, you're not having college. Don't like it. Oh, you are, okay. Anybody have an extra lightning cord, by the way? Anybody else need help creating your account? That'll take a little bit. I'll make sure everybody gets that first before we go on. Create your account, verify it, log into Xcode. I'll show you. COM dot. Say you have another dot. COM dot. Tab. And go to the yes button. Go to the top. Access. That's not good. You might get a trust prompt. Should. Once you get your password entered into Xcode, go ahead and plug your iPad into your Mac. I'll walk around and help you get things set up on Xcode. Plug in your Mac. There you go. Here's iPhone XT. All the way to the top. And go ahead and plug the iPad into. Sit there for a second. Once you plug your iPad in, make sure you do the trust button on the iPad. You might get one on your Mac too. Just kind of click. Sit there for a second. See how far controls. We'll say running, whatever. Just let it sit there. Once you plug in your iPad and trust, it'll sit there and run for a second in Xcode. Right. I'll just come by one with my contacts. COM dot last name. No, my contacts there. And then go ahead and go to the top. Unlock the iPad. Where it says simulator, click on the simulator, and your iPad should be at the top. iPhone X, whatever. Top. Should see your device there. Okay, now hit the tab key. Now select team, which is not right now. Team, provisioning none. Go back to the Xcode preferences one. Accounts. So, put download channel profiles. Now click away from looks like, oh, it's still preparing your iPad. it's got to continue preparing. Okay, good. Right, click X here. Click this folder here. Click my contacts. Very top one. All right, then go ahead and replace edu.Rockefeller College with com dot your last name. Right, and then hit the drop down team, and let's select you. Right, and then select iPhone XR and select the iPad, very top. You might have to select trust, so you select it on the iPad. It should pop up on the screen. Fine. So it's good to good, ready to go. Awesome. Okay. Now, if you go to scroll down for me on the app icon, select the top one there, and go ahead and hit play. CIS280 Curtis. Going to iCloud.com. Get the password. You already created the app ID. All right, we'll go to iCloud.com. Type in iCloud.com up here at the top. Which is over it all. Type in iCloud.com. Enter, go. And we'll use your password if you want to. This one here. If you get a password to sign something, to access it, it should be the password on the board boot camp. If you sign up with that username. Yeah, you don't have to do it. Next time, just type always allow. And when you type it in, just say always allow that, we don't have to keep pressing OK and OK and OK. Getting there. All right. You guys still working? Now what you want to do is if it did, go ahead and go to the file menu. And what version of what version of iOS do you want? It has to be higher than 10. Right, just go ahead and close project. And then file open project. File. Let's go. Go down to recent, open recent. Put on master at the top. Change profile for me. Download profile. Right again. You just set up an iCloud account. That's on it all. And you did all the verifications, right? If you're there, you're on iCloud. Okay. Go back to Xcode. Go to Xcode preferences. Let's go to Xcode quick and we'll restart it. Sometimes you have to restart Xcode sometimes. Okay, on that, just type in boot camp and then always allow. Yep. It's 0642. Get locked, 0642 on over as that. Okay, go to Xcode, let's see what that version was. I thought it was 10 something. File, open, reset, and that one. I thought it was 10.3 on this one. So select revision profile. It's weird. You need to try to sign in again. Go ahead and cancel it. Go to Xcode preferences. Sign out with that user. I would say just hit the minus button. That's might go up and see. So you're going to replace edu.rockvalleycollege with com.last name. Yeah, won't go away to the connector. So I'm making my way around, so be patient. You guys are doing all right. All right. And then you want to go ahead and hit the tab key. Double correct your credentials. Good. Now you're ready to go ahead and hit play. Unlock your key. And you'll get a security prompt, and you'll need to type in boot camp on your Mac and to allow always. When you play, you get a prompt for security, type in boot camp, allow always. Right. Still building. Unlock your iPad. Come up again, we'll unlock it. And just gonna hang tight. When it does build all the way, by the way, it'll tell you on the screen of that's code. Oh. Okay, did you run it? Did you get it? You should have got an error telling what to do on the screen. Let's see. We're sharing one of our people. You log in with a new account. Okay, go ahead. It's you got your phone?
Oh, I got the simulator.
A simulator? Okay. So you don't, now click the bottom one. Bottom one. Up. Continue. 55738. Download. You're ready to go there. You see the instructions on your iPad? Go general tab, and then over there you see developer, very bottom, say provisions. There's just device management. There's device management where you have to trust it. Okay, click on problem identifier, COM dot your last name. Rock Valley College, my contacts, dot my contacts. Just replace edu dot Rock Valley College, COM dot your last name. select your new key. And do you have an iPhone on that? You have an iPhone, you have a 12. Well, keep your general. Um, iCloud. On the Xcode menu, exit, and then restart it. So Xcode on the platform. With Xcode. Plug and plug it out. As soon as it reads it on the simulator, select it. So, on Xcode. Oh, lower deployment target. Okay, that's what it is. So, what I can use 6 keyboard, you change the font. So, put that log bucket, and change the component, button 4, button 5. Put a balance. And now it's in here. Always we can see one logic. Check the automatic manage signing. We'll look for all that. Do automatic manage signing. Check box. Automatic. Where it says team, select drop down. Select region. There you go, perfect. I'm connected, the iPad's good. I'm going to plug. So it's all tied to people, so sure. Okay. Well, do what it says. Settings. Scroll down to device management. If ever want that. Go back to next program. Verify that. Make sure your iPad is connected to Wi-Fi. If it's not already. Just verify that. So. Let me make over here real quick. No, I haven't made it way over here yet. You guys are over here. Good? Got it installed? Sweet. What up? Okay, go plug it in. Okay, and from Xcode, you have to say trust with Xcode. And it's preparing, so it's going to take a little bit. Okay. Okay, so while I've got a few still loading there, so let me go over real quick some of the steps here. All right, and by the way, well, before I forget, okay, in the main module of our course, there is a step-by-step of what we're doing here called Install Apps on iDevice for Testing. And it should load a PDF of everything that we're going over tonight, which the first prerequisite is Apple, either an Apple developer account or a brand new iCloud account. Either one will work. And that's not the one I want. I want side loading. Hang on just a second. Here it is. Install apps without developer license. That's the one we want. That's the one that is the one I'm wanting. There we go. So this goes through the steps that we just went over manually, so one by one. Make sure you have a free Apple ID first, which we did that. And again, a lot of little steps for that. Open Xcode, log in with that ID. You have to do all the verifications for iCloud and Gmail, like we did in here. Once you log in for the first time, there should be a button here that says download manual or download manual profiles or something. I always click that. I don't think you have to anymore, but I do. You don't have to create the iOS development part. It does it for you automatically now in Xcode. The main thing is when you open up your project, you have to change the identifier, medu.rockvalleycollege to com dot whatever, like your last name or first initial last name dot whatever the name of the app is. Then you have to select your team, which is going to be you, your personal team, with that new Gmail. Connect the iPhone or iPad, let it trust it, build. If there is issues, there'll be a fix button in Xcode to fix it. But generally, after you do the rename and it's connected and you've selected in the simulator the real device, as long as that real device is below the iOS version of Xcode, you're good to go. What I mean by that is in Xcode on the home page, because some of yours had used newer apps when you were doing this earlier. So when I select the personal team, 10.3 on this device here, it has to be 10.3 or higher on the iOS device. But you'll notice when I rename mine up here, the overhead, to something different. I'll do com.cbconkle, hit tab. Then I don't have a device. And by the way, you have to have a device connected, which I didn't, and I don't. I don't have my iPad here connected. But if I did, it would show up here. Once you connect your iPad, then it solves the signing certificate and creates that for you, basically. But you have to be connected to the real device first for that to happen, okay? So once you select your username, fix the issue, select your team, yes, if you get trust messages, then when you build it the first time, there will be a prompt on the iPad to trust that profile. Okay, you'll have to trust the profile, and the profile is going to be follow the directions in general. I think it's manage provisions or manage devices, something like that. You'll tap on that and hit trust. You will need to have Wi-Fi connection for that to work. Otherwise, because it has to talk to the Apple servers that you're a real that you're a real ID. If you don't have a connection via Wi-Fi, that won't work. But once you trust your developer account on that iOS device, then it should build fine and load on the iOS device. And by the way, this document is in the course documents, and it's called Open Without Developer License. So what I'm going to do is walk around, make sure everybody has that completed, or you're on the right track anyway with it. So here, good, right? What do you got left on yours? Okay, so what you want to do is go up to My Contacts. Spinning, I would hit the home button on your iPad. Let's sit there for a second. See if you can select the iPhone up here. Go to iPhone 8 Plus. Go all the way to the top. Okay. Once you've installed one app successfully with that account, you can install all your apps on that device. Okay. So let's select My Contacts. Then you're going to go up here and do this. Replace edu.college with com. First name, last name is fine. Last name. com.last name. Thank you for running. Do about My Contacts tab. And select your team, and you'll see your username in there. There you go. Should create a profile. Now that you're connected to a real device, authenticated, now you hit the play button. So if we're on a simulator now, you're actually running on the real device. We'll have to go through a trust process. You're connected to Wi-Fi, so you're good. So you will get a trust process where you might get a trust screen on the Mac. Put in the bootcamp password, allow always, if you get that. When it finally builds all the way, you'll get a prompt on the Xcode saying you need a trusted provision profile. Just follow that. Good. Awesome. Awesome. Is it the wrong provision? Is the one you downloaded? clean product build. Yeah. On the extra. So you want to put in the boot camp password. That's all you do. You didn't do that. Oh, okay, that'll do it. Yeah, you want to allow that. What it's doing is gives you a root phone that I have for that phone. So if it gives you that again, just say yes. You want to do it. Okay. Oh. Download that. What's that? Yeah, we gotta do it on person. Cool. Good. Use my iPad here for you. I have your iPad for the report. You can give it to him. He's gonna use it on his end. Would you want to help on that? I'll walk it through. I've got to help this gentleman get. Okay, what are we doing here? Well, did you hit the trust? Did you get a prompt to trust something? No, I'm on the Mac. Put a passcode. You might got a prompt on there. What's your phone version? Okay. All right, you're fine. All right. Okay. Then go ahead and go to File, Close, Upload Project, Project, back to Xcode, direct to Finder. Click on that original download zip file. And yeah, double click on it again. A new, I want a new one, a new instance of the extraction of that. Yeah. Yeah. And you didn't change anything from the one I did last week. This one, yeah, let's download that. Download that zip. And so we got downloads. Open, and then you'll have to change, you know what to change on it.
What's it called today? I have
What up?
unlock that now.
Boot camp. Oh, on that, 062. Password. Right? Change, she done it already. Cool. Anywhere else need help that's not done there, Curtis? Did you get yours working? You want to help Curtis real quick? Now I can order it. Yeah. Awesome. Right. So good luck. That's good so far. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, leave it at 10.3. You're fine. You're good. And go ahead and hit play. Unlock your phone. Yeah, as long as you're lowering your phone. You're good. Phone or iPad. As long as you're lower, you're good to go. If I get here real quick. This is one we just did, right? That might take a while. You got this phone for a while. It's got all your data. Yeah, it's going to take a while. So just let it sit. Okay. Whoop. Don't trust it. That one we can yeah. Very debugger much more from the phone. So if you do make prompts on trust or anything, it's still preparing for what's happening. Still preparing for your phone. Okay, so let it sit there. Don't touch it. Good. Yours right. Okay. Do me a favor. If yours worked successfully, if it did work successfully, go ahead and unplug it from your Mac and bring up your cord and your iPad both. And do me a favor and press the power button on the upper right corner. Press and hold it till the shutdown prompt comes up. Awesome. And then just put them up there where you got them earlier. That'd be great. And then we're going to go over the website creation here real quick. Okay, awesome. Right, awesome. Go ahead and unplug. Very great. We got upper right corner power button. Press and hold it. Now you see power on. Yeah, bring it all. Oh, no, you're fine. I gotta look at it. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and go over your take home. Hey, Curtis. Curtis, I'll help you right after class, okay? I'll go ahead and help, right? Thanks, appreciate it. I'll help you right after class, buddy. All right, so let's go ahead and go over the take home. Good job, everybody, helping each other. Remember the document for live install side loading is what I have on the overhead. Installing apps without developer license, follow those steps. You can use your existing iCloud account. Just make sure it's not a developer account, especially if you're going to port it to other people's devices. That's the way to do it. Here's how I do on my trick. When I create new apps, I'll create a Gmail just for that app, okay? Then with that Gmail account, I'll create a new iCloud account for that app. Okay, and then I can use that new iCloud account to port testers as I need to test for that development. If that makes sense. So if I'm developing for 5 people or for a company, they have their own Gmail account, they have their own iCloud account just for the app, and then I can use that for everything. If that makes sense. It's just much easier to manage it that way. And what I do is I create a private repo, a private GitHub repo for that app, and I put all the passwords and everything in that private repo like a text file. That way I don't forget, because I'll forget. I forgot tonight when I set a password when I initially set one, so I know I'm going to forget. And so I have to create that file. Maybe you're not that like that. Maybe a better memory than me, but my short-term memory is not that great, I guess. So anyway, so let's go ahead and go over the take home. And so what you've learned tonight, basically, if you do it over and over again, it's second nature after you do it 2 or 3 times. So it's not a major deal. You will have to, do it more than just tonight to get it second nature. And I would recommend if you don't have an iOS device, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. If you don't have an iOS device and you want to do this again between now and next week, as long as you do it again, I'm fine with it. You can take this iPad home with you. Just see me before you leave. I'll have you sign a piece of paper, sign your life away. I'll just have you sign that you're going to return it next week. And then that way you can bring it home and do it again multiple times. That'd be great. Okay. So let's go over the 9 assignment real quick. You're going to create a web page of your project, final project on GitHub. So you'll need to create a new repo just for the website, okay? So even if you already have a repo for your final site, maybe you want to create a brand new repo for your final site. The link here takes you to how to create a GitHub page for your project. And so you just follow the story here on creating a local repo, which you already know how to do some of this already. And creating that. The one you don't know how to do is creating the GitHub page. All right. And just follow the steps on how to do it. And it shows you step by step how to do it, how to select your theme that you want, to publishing it, to editing it. And then I'll give you an example here of one that I've done in the past. This cool drop photo. So that's a template I chose for it. And you don't have to really know any HTML. It's good to have some what's called GitHub markup code, which I'll show you some helps here in a second. But with the GitHub markup code, you can do everything you can do in HTML. So you do bolding and italicizing and images and all that stuff, links. But if you look here at the bottom under documentation on 9 assignments, I have 3 links. These are guides to help you with GitHub Markdown code. I'll click on the first couple. The first is Mastering Markdown 3-minute read. It talks about formatting to make editing easier. Goes over formatting approaches, how to format text, and then it goes right into the examples. So tons of examples on text, list, images, headers and quotes, code that you want to put in your page maybe, and extras. So just follow those examples here, and it gives you tons of examples to help you. Like an example here on the headers, one hashtag is a H1, like you would normally have in HTML. 2 hashtags is an H2. 5 hashtag or 6 hashtags is an H6. So you get my drift. You keep going all the way up. Emphasis, you put little stars on asterisks on both ends. You get emphasizing. List, you basically just put in there a dash and a name, and it starts creating list. Greater than symbol, block quotes, inline quote, list goes on and on. So that's the first one. The second one's a good one too. This is a markdown cheat sheet. I like this one because it goes right into a whole bunch of different categories you might want to put, like say a YouTube video in your GitHub page. Tells you exactly how to do it. Now, can you use regular HTML in your GitHub page? Yes, you can. So if you already know the image tags and the HTML tags and all that, you can definitely use those. Okay, so you do not have to use GitHub Markdown code, but it's probably well worth playing with it at least, to know it a little bit probably. It's not real hard to learn. And that's why I gave you this information here. So all I need you to do is create your new page, your new GitHub page, web page, put a title in there, a description of your app, and submit the GitHub website below. Now, let me just show you real quick on the overhead how quick and easy this is. And I've got this being recorded. So I'm going to go to github.com and log in with my account. I'm going to create a brand new one just to show you a brand new repo and turn it into a web page. Show you how quick it is. Now the templates have something to be desired, but it's just to support your app anyway. There we go. Okay. All right. So let me go to. I'm going to create a. I'm going to go to my personal account. That's what you guys will be in anyway. And let's go to. So I'll go to my repositories, create a new one, and I'm just for test's sake here, I'm going to call this one my homepage, or let me call it I'll call it my mobile app. My mobile app. Very creative, right? My mobile app. No description really needed right now. It's going to be public for everybody to see it. You want to initialize a README always when you create your repo. And then click Create Repo. Then what you're going to do immediately when you come in here is go up to Settings, scroll down till you get to the GitHub pages, and you can select. I usually select under Source. I'll select Master Branch, and then save it. And then I'll finally go in here and hit GitHub pages. You'll notice though, once I did the master branch, I literally have a working URL right now of my website. Now, if I click on this right now, watch what happens. If I click on this, it's all it gives me is nothing because I haven't put anything in there yet. Okay. But I could actually go to my README and now see it says mobile app. I can actually come in here if I wanted to, which this is one way to do it. I'm going to show you if I wanted to do like say, I don't know, sub here, subheading, and then maybe a list one. List two, whatever. And I can preview my changes. That's one way to do it. Just do it manually here. And you'll notice here in a second, my changes, it takes about a minute maybe at the most for your changes to show up. I'll wait for it here real quick to show you. Tab. Sometimes I like to use a new incognito screen. It makes it go a little faster sometimes. I did save it. There it is, finally. All right, so that's what, see, that's pretty plain, right? But watch this. I'm gonna go back to that repo, go to settings, and I'm gonna go down here to this GitHub pages. And I'm gonna choose, it tells me here I can choose different themes if I want to, or gives you a video of how to do it and everything. Or I can just come down here again and choose a theme. And granted, these themes are very minimal. I'll select this tactile one. All right, so that's what it's going to look like. It has all that dummy text in there too, by the way, for you. The reason they do it is just to show you how to do stuff in that page, if that makes sense. Kind of gives you examples about how to do stuff. So I'll have an image, levels, nested levels, order, header 1, header 2, header 3, block quotes for code, all that stuff. So anyway, I'm going to choose that one, select that theme. And now, if I go to that web page, I'll make sure I save that. Yes, I did. Yep. So I change the tactile. Again, it's going to take a second to show up. So I will copy that. There it is. So there's my tactile page that was created. And I can go back in now to GitHub and go to that actual page, which is my README, and start making changes. But you'll notice it puts in there a little different feel than what I had before. But, you know, not bad. So anyway, you'll follow the steps on this link here, which walks you through a little different way I did it, but you get the same end result. Title for app description, and then you'll submit the URL. The URL will be given to you in that settings page. So if I go to mine again, you'll notice it gives you a unique URL for your site now. It'll be your username.github.io / the name of your repo. Make sense? Now, if you're interested, one of the cool things you can do with GitHub, like the app I showed you earlier tonight, the rbciot.app website, it actually is built on a GitHub page, a GitHub repo. This is the repo it's built on, by the way. That's it right there, the entire website. All right. But you'll notice in this repo, there is a file called CNAME. And CNAME basically just has in there the pointer to rbciot.app. And if I go into settings, after I bought the domain on GoDaddy, it's just a couple settings in GoDaddy that you have to set, records, and then you can point it to that brand new domain. So literally I'm getting the domain for $16 a year. The hosting service is totally free through GitHub, which is pretty cool. So basically 17 bucks a year for a website. That's not bad. No monthly fees. No monthly fees for it. So if you're interested in doing that, let me know. They just changed how you have to do it. So if you want to do that, let me know. I'm not going to have an assignment, but I know some of you might want to do that possibly, and to save you some money if you're creating a website. And so that's week 9 take home. Questions on that? We've already done the in-class. And by the way, on the in-class, all you need to do was to submit. Did you understand how to connect and install apps on your iPad or iPhone? Just say yes or no. What issues did you have? Well, I know we had issues. We had to create a new account, authentication, had issues of setting up the device on Xcode. So you definitely are going to have issues, that's for sure. But once you overcome those issues, you're good to go. Forward fasting a little bit. Next week, week 10. Our in-class for next week is going to be doing preferences in app development, the uses of preferences. And then your take-home is creating a preferenced app or adding preferences to your final app option as a final app option. So preferences you'll learn are such things as what's on the overhead here, like choosing a birth date, choosing a username, password, color preferences, stuff like that. Week 11, 2 weeks from tonight, we're going over, the in-class is going to be My Movies. You'll be creating an app that will preview 3 of your favorite movie trailers. For the in-class, we're going to use a static app that we're going to download and play with and look at the code and see how it's loaded and do some changes there. I'll have you download your own images for basically like a DVD cover images you'll download from like imdb.com, and then show you how to point it to an MP4 on that app. Take home is starting 2 weeks from tonight, you're going to start working on your final app full time. Starting 2 weeks from tonight. Also optional for that week is to add a feature to your app where you play a video, maybe like a help video. You don't have to. If some apps don't need a video, but if yours does, that will be an optional for that week if you want to. Requirement for week 11, though, which is just 2 weeks from tonight, is begin or continue working on your final app. All right, so if you haven't already done that, at least created a stub for it, I would definitely do that. Because once we get past week 11, week 12, work full-time on your app, attendance optional, I'll be here as a resource. Week 13, 14, same thing. Week 15, attendance is mandatory. After Thanksgiving, we'll be doing a checklist, a final checklist to make sure you're good to go. And then week 16, you will present your prototype. And at that point, we'll have some functionality working, app functionality, and some functionality not working. But you'll have your good prototype down, all right? If you need code snippets, which a few of you have already sent me emails, if you need code snippets for your final app, you need to do so. I'd rather you do it now than later, earlier than later, so I can start giving you examples. So you already know what we have covered, what we're going to cover through week 11. If we're not going to cover what you're going to be using in your app, which more than likely we won't for most of you, we'll have some components you'll need help with. That's what I'm here for. So shoot me an email now and say, I know I'm going to need help with ABC, whatever. Maybe it's maps. Maybe it's GPS coordinates. Maybe it's how to record a video. Maybe it's whatever it might be. Sky's the limit on what you need help with, but I can't help you if you don't tell me what you need help with. Make sense? Questions on that? Cool. So tonight you learned how to sideload an app. on an iOS, iPhone, or iPad. A couple things we learned. Make sure your iOS version has to be lower or equal to an Xcode, right? We learned that. Also, that the account, once you sideload it onto a device, has to be trusted, remember, in the general area and the manage modules, you have to trust it. Once you trust an app from your developer account one time, for that user account one time, that's it. Every other app you install on that device will install just fine. And you can actually go into that management area. Showed some of you who went around, and you can actually see all the apps that you've created. And you can delete those apps individually if you want to. The only time it would fail, I think we had one fail in here, was when they weren't connected to Wi-Fi. If you're not connected to Wi-Fi on that iOS device, it can't authenticate with Apple's server that that's a real iCloud account. I think that was the only issues you really had. And so once you have those, you now have a generic iCloud account that you can use for what we did tonight with any device that's an iOS device, and basically do just what we did tonight. And then the reason that's so popular today is, by the way, Apple finally opened it up about a year and a half ago. Before that, you had to spend the $99 to do that, okay? Now, you can just send somebody your Xcode project if they're across the state lines or something, you couldn't get their iOS device. They can download Xcode, connect their iPad with the handout I created, that PDF I showed you. You give it to them, and then they can port it on their own device. It's not real hard to do once they have that iCloud account created. Make sense? So what do you think about side loading? Pretty good, right? What's cool about it is that you can now, from here on out, all your apps, including mainly your final app, you can start porting it now to your iOS device, which leads me to the last thing we're going to talk about, which was those of you who do not have an iOS device that maybe want to start porting your devices or your apps to an iOS device. So what I'm going to do, give me a moment. I'm going to print out a piece of paper to where those that want to take home an iPad can. The only thing I will say for as far as those that are going to take one home is cleaning for these iPads. Basically, you just take a paper towel and just put a little bit of water on it, make it a little damp. I tell students just to clean like once a day, the screen and the back of it and everything. And then charging it up. I keep it charged up every day. And then the passcode is the same one we use for the in-class. If you have an update, if it has an update for the iOS device and you want to update it, you can use that same password. That's a generic password I created for this class. If you don't want to mess with it, don't mess with it. Just don't do any updates. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay. Make sense? Cool. All right. So give me a minute. I'll print those out, and then you guys can grab your iPad and your cord and take those home. So give me just a second. Do I know?
There's going to be a purchase option.
What now?
You said there's going to be a purchase option for the iPad.
No, not on these are not. No. But there is a, you get to loan them, take them home to play with them, and get to load your apps on them and stuff like that, definitely. So let me do a little sheet here with everybody's name on it. Then I'll have you come up after I print it out, and then we will be done.
And we wanted to buy an iPad mini. What version or later?
I would say the newest one, and they're really not. The newest one just came out. Not too bad. Let's see here. We just bought a whole bunch. They're actually cheaper than they were the 2 versions back. Let's see here on the iPad. All right. And if you don't need an iPad and you're done for the night, you're good. Unless you have a question about something. Otherwise, just hang back real quick. Let's see here on the iPad version. Let's go with 329. 329 is the low end, I think. Yeah, that's the low end one. It's not bad. That's a mini one. That's the mini one. Let's see if there's should be a side-by-side thing here. Hang on.
32 gigabytes, okay, doesn't matter on that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah, for what you'll be using it for. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think that, yeah, this new one comes with a pencil actually. This new one comes with a pencil, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty nice. Do I know?
Got that Pro from the-
Yeah. Yeah, this new iPad, 32 gig, it's 329. Now let's see here. No, you have to buy the pencil. Pencil separate. Oh, you know what though? You can get an educational pricing on it. It's not much. I think it's 10% off, but it's a little bit, I guess. 10%. Let's see here. Let's see what it is. iPad Mini. Let's do iPad Mini 4. 379. That's for the newest one, iPad Mini 4 for 128. For 128 gig, 379. That's pretty good. That's not too bad. That'd be quite a bit more memory too. Yeah, 128. So yeah, but definitely do the educational. You get a little bit of price, 10% off. I think is what you guys get for that. So anyway, that helped. Cool. All right, so let's go to the paper here that I got to fill out. Second here, name. Let's see, okay. Date, 15. All right, go and come on up. Those who need an iPad with a cord, go and come on up and you can grab it and I'll give it to you. You just have to sign this. You want to start porting your apps to the iPad. What? What up?
They can put it on their iPhone.
Yeah, you put it on iPhone. iPhone will work. If you have an iPhone, you don't need it. So if you don't have an iPhone or iOS device at all, that'll work. iPhone will work perfect though. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna do it at the end of the class, but my daughter.
Ah, gotcha. So nobody's taking one home? Anybody doing it? No? All right. What up? Your iPad what now? Do you have it with you? Yeah, if you use it to port the apps to, you can take one of these with you. Do I know? Yeah, then you'll need one of these to port then. If you, that's why I brought these tonight. So, all right, good job, everybody. All right, so what you'll need to do, Jackie, is
Oh, they don't
this.
have cases now?
no, they do not have cases.
Oh, man.
No.
I don't want to break this damn
Do
thing.
you have a bag with you?
Yeah.
Okay, just put it in there. Be careful with it, and then basically just make sure and bring it back each week. And you just need to put your name here, and that's and date, and that's it.
Okay. They're all the same?
They're all the same.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna put a freaking case on.
Do what now?
I said I'm gonna see if I have any cases to bring.
Yeah. These don't have cases with them, so you just have to be careful with it.
What happens if it breaks?
Hmm?
What happens if it breaks?
Well, just be careful. Try not to break it.
What did I do here?
10 something, 10,
Oh,
15.
but the last, the number or something? on
No,
it?
I've got it here on the back. We'll
Here,
do this
this
one
one's
right. We'll do
cleaner.
this one right here.
This one's cleaner right here.
Yeah, let's do that one. That'll work. Let me see your pen, and I'll get the number off of it.
Sign it. Oh, it's locked.
4797.
Oh, you have to put your password.
That's right. It's 0642. All right. So you'll need this, and you'll need the lightning cord.
Is it on an app or something that
What
you
up?
use?
There it is.
I gotta get that thing.
He can teach you.
I'll just leave this right here. You can grab it. Just I did tell them how to clean it. Just take a damp towel if you don't already. Just make sure it's a little
Oh, I
damp,
have
and then
special
clean it.
electronics.
And that'll work.
Just
I'm
go
gonna
back
bring
over the videos.
Yeah.
I go back over the videos, I watch the videos. I said, Chuck, you can learn English. Can't you, Chuck?